anniversary, Bahamas. One nation, under the sun. We love our legacy, our history. Our original, bright and clear. Peace the moon, beaming in flight. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Happy anniversary, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Carissa Williamson with Bahamas Information Services, and this has been a special edition of Your Government in Action, a year in review. Stay tuned with us in 2024, where we continue to bring you highlights, coverage, and information as we also continue to do what we do best, linking people and government.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the nation's leader outlining the government's progress in the 2024 mid-year budget. Also, as Margaritaville moved to a closed-loop shutting out Bahamians from traveling on the cruise vessel, the government has moved to stop its subsidies. And the Bahamas Mineral and Manufacturing Corporation transitions from vision to reality. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, the Prime Minister unveiled the 2023-2024 mid-year budget statement in a pivotal session at the House of Assembly on Wednesday morning. This presentation served as a crucial update to the Bahamian people, outlining the government's progress in implementing the outlined priorities and plans from the budget, emphasizing the theme, a budget for security and progress. The address aimed to provide a comprehensive overview of the nation's financial standing and the strides made in key areas. Raven Davis reports.
Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis announcing the government's focus on achieving financial goals set in the 2023-2024 budget in the House of Assembly this morning. He notes that over the past 6 months, the Maritime Revenue Enhancement Task Force has been actively combating revenue loss in the maritime sector. That said, Operation Revenue Fortification has expanded from Bimini to islands like Abaco, the Berry Islands, and Exuma Keys with the goal of strengthening revenue collection.
Notable progress has been made over the past few months. An online platform was introduced into the port departments in Abaco and the Berry Islands, as well as the administrator's office in Great Harbour Key. The platform enables these offices to receive credit cards and bankers' check payments along with cash payments. The Maritime Revenue Enhancement Task Force was able to collect $1.2 million in maritime revenue in just the first 3 months of operations.
He says transformative change is happening in country and highlights a number of projects and initiatives underway.
An expansion of technical and vocational training, including certification at the high school level. An empowered Grand Bahama micro grant program for entrepreneurs. The $1.5 billion in investments with Grand Bahama in the pipeline, the beautiful Grand Bahama program, in which collaboration has led to safer communities, and CoLab Grand Bahama, which fosters partnerships between the government and the private sector to bring change and progress to Grand Bahama. Major upgrades to our health infrastructure, more support for our athletes and sports programs.
And the government continues in its unwavering commitment to addressing unregulated communities with a recent focus on Abaco. In a decisive move, 10 illegal structures were demolished on Abaco last month.
A task force addressing unregulated shanty towns in New Providence and Abaco and other family islands. The selection and training of new immigration officers, saturation patrols, and new investments in collaboration in crime prevention.
And in a significant stride toward regional development, the government also announcing major new investments. These initiatives encompassing crucial infrastructure projects.
Major new investments across our family islands, including new airports, road paving, Nandos, Bimini, Kerala, Nabucco, Long Island, Great Harbour Key, Crooked Island.
Davis says this year's fiscal budget reflects government's commitment to strengthening national, economic, and personal security and safety. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Well, the Grand Bahama Entrepreneurial Expo for local entrepreneurs is underway at the Forster B. Pistina Center. The Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, along with the Minister for Grand Bahama, both hosting the event to educate local business owners about the opportunities set to come on stream. Our Aja Kwan joins us live now from the Expo. Aja, how's it going?
Yes, Rico, we are coming to you live here at the Pro Cathedral Christ the King Forster B. Pistina Hall, where the Ministry for Grand Bahama is hosting the 2024 Entrepreneurial Expo. It is a networking opportunity for aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs who already have their business intact. But as you can see behind me and all through this room, they are visiting different agency booths. Now, the event did wrap up about a few minutes ago, so now they have the opportunity to meet with agency partners on how to expand their business or start a business. The expo is a partnership between the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, along with the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie. This underscores a firm commitment to exploring entrepreneurial opportunities and empower residents to pursue their business aspirations. And speaking of pursuing business aspirations, I now have with me Miss Abilene Jones. She is an aspiring entrepreneur. How are you doing?
Hi, pleasant. Good evening, Miss Quant. I'm well. How are you?
I am doing well. I feel very empowered. Do you feel empowered?
I certainly feel empowered. This Entrepreneurial Expo 2024 has been quite insightful, inspiring. The DPM would have made mention that not only collaborate with the booths that are here, but to also collaborate with persons that are in the room, because collaboration is what is happening at the top.
What made you want to come out this evening?
Well, I am an aspiring entrepreneur, and I'm looking for opportunities. I'm looking for any incentives that are possible, any loans, and any just business ideas that can help me to advance further from being an aspiring entrepreneur to an actual entrepreneur.
Now, I see that we have a lot of the agency partners throughout the room. Which booth are you going to first?
So the first booth that I visited, of course, was the Port Authority. I went there because I wanted to make sure that I comply with what is required as a business licensee. So that was definitely the first booth. I also looked to going to Access Accelerators booth next to be able to take advantage of any opportunities that they have available for entrepreneurs.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us this evening. And of course, you can go ahead and enjoy the room. Thank you so much. And there you have it, Ramiko. Again, the program wrapped up just a few minutes ago, and so aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs already are meeting with the agency partners. We will have a detailed report in tomorrow's newscast, coming to you live here at the Forster B. Pistina Hall. I'm Azra Quant, back to you in studio.
Thanks so much, Aja. Well, the 25th Annual Grand Bahama Business Outlook is scheduled for Thursday, February 22nd, 2024 at the Grand Lucaine Resort under the theme Future Grand Bahama, Branding the National Identity, Planning for Success. The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, will be the opening speaker, providing an update on Grand Bahama. We will have a full report in tomorrow's newscast. Well, the government has ceased providing subsidies to Margaritaville at Sea following the cruise company's decision to discontinue its one-way tickets from Freeport to West Palm Beach in December, after U.S. Customs and Border Protection determined that it violated U.S. laws. This announcement, made by Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, comes as negotiations continue with the cruise line to address the issue. More details in this report.
Margaritaville at Sea, as you had seen from, I believe, early January's paper, they had stopped taking Grand Bahamian passengers from Grand Bahama to Florida.
The halt in subsidies comes in response to Margaritaville at Sea's cessation of one-way tickets from Freeport to West Palm Beach in December, prompted by U.S. Customs Border Protection's determination that the practice violated U.S. laws. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, John Pinder, says that ongoing discussions aim to resolve the matter swiftly. But until then, all government assistance to the company has been suspended.
When we found out in January, we immediately stopped any subsidies that they had and started speaking directly with them on how they could change their business model so they can conform to the U.S. law.
According to Pinder, the cruise line had been conducting both open-loop and closed-loop cruises simultaneously.
So you're only allowed to do one or the other with one ship.
Efforts have been underway since early January to align the company's business model with U.S. regulations, while still accommodating passengers from Grand Bahama.
In multiple meetings, and even one with the U.S. Border Customs Patrol and the Charged Affairs and everybody, it was found out that they were given this notice back in August of last year, but neglected to inform us that this was coming up. So they had a bit of leeway where we could have worked alongside them and seen where we could have come up with an amicable solution.
As negotiations continue between the government and Margaritaville at Sea, stakeholders await a resolution that ensures compliance with U.S. regulations while addressing the needs of Bahamian travelers and travel agents. But when will this happen? That has yet to be determined.
This is still ongoing negotiations. We're still trying to come up with a proper solution, and we're trying to do it as quickly as possible because we know the impact that it's had on Grand Bahamians.
The island of Abaco in mourning following the death of a mother and a young son on Tuesday morning. The tragedy unfolding on Ernestine Highway around 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning. According to reports, the female driver and a male child, both occupants of a black Honda Fit, were traveling north when the vehicle veered into oncoming traffic. Tonight, the Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco and President of the Abaco Christian Council expressed their condolences into this latest tragedy. Jananda Thompson-Everest reports.
The streets of Abaco claiming yet another victim, this time a young mother and her 4-year-old son. This latest incident is now the second traffic fatality on that northern island for the year. MP for South and Central Abaco, John Pinder, along with the president of the Abaco Christian Council, Paulette Cartwright, says this latest unfortunate incident has rocked the island. Despite the recent tragedies, Abaco is still a developing and resilient place. While investigations are still ongoing, the MP says that he reached out to the family of the latest fatality, offering his condolences.
Definitely heartbreaking whenever we lose a life, but more so when there is a youth that loses their life, because like I say, the youth are our greatest resource. We must cherish, nurture, and elevate every one of them. And it sent shockwaves throughout Abaco.
The president of the Abaco Christian Council, Reverend Paulette Cartwright, adds that the deaths are unfortunate, and while it is unclear what caused this accident, she ponders whether these types of traffic incidents are accidents or spiritual attacks.
Many times when things happen, and they happen frequently, and there's sort of no deviation as to how it happens, I tend to ponder and reflect and to think that yes, there could be some spiritual influence happening here in Abaco, and that would cause these things to happen.
The Reverend also encouraging residents to drive safely and always be vigilant when traversing the roads.
To be very, very, very prayerful as we lift up not only the entire Bahamas, but in the islands in which we live, the communities in which we reside, to lift up the people, be it our friends, our neighbors, or those that we don't even know, but just to lift up and to be ready to get into spiritual warfare as we fight what is happening around us.
The Abaco MP says that one way he plans to assist in preventing such accidents is by erecting more signs, increase lighting, and ensure that the roadways are visibly marked. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Thanks, Jolanda. 4 years after its conception, the Bahamas Mineral and Manufacturing Corporation Limited took a significant step towards realization with a groundbreaking and cornerstone laying ceremony on December 7th, 2023. Tonight, the president and CEO, Mitchell Thurston, shares the journey behind the vision and the promising future it holds.
I was listening to a talk show, and the talk show brought up the topic of, in the Bahamas, we need to add value to products.
In a candid reflection of the genesis of his entrepreneurial venture, Mitchell Thurston revealing that the seed of inspiration was planted during a talk show he listened to in April of 2020. Intrigued by the notion of adding value to building material products, Thurston embarked on a journey of research and exploration.
We narrowed down as a company a few and decided to begin the first product being PVC pipes. And that was when that was when the idea came to me. And from that moment, it was a constant push.
With unwavering determination and a belief in the economic viability of his vision, Thurston wasted no time in translating his ideas into action. Last year, witnessing the realization of his dream as ground was broken for the Bahamas Mineral and Manufacturing Corporation Limited. The presence of the nation's leader at the ceremony underscored the significance of the new facility, not only for the company, but for the entire Bahamian economy. Reflecting on the process of establishing the company, Thurston expressing surprise at the smooth acquisition and licensing process.
When we contacted the port, it was initially over the Christmas holiday. I remember it being over the Christmas holiday. By the either the 2nd or 4th of January, I had a full response from the investment side of the Port Authority, who laid out the exact process of what was necessary to get a business license and was able to assist us as we went through the process.
The Bahamas Mineral and Manufacturing Corporation Limited stands as a beacon of Bahamian entrepreneurship, committed to producing high-quality construction-grade products, starting with PVC pipes and fittings. Situated on a 5-acre development along Queens Highway, the site holds the promise of employment for up to 30 individuals upon completion of construction. Thurston extending an invitation to businesses outside the country, encouraging them to consider Grand Bahama as a destination for investment. He says with its supportive regulatory framework and abundant opportunities, Grand Bahama presents a fertile ground for growth and prosperity.
You're going to be able to get a streamlined process, and you will be able to, of course, take advantage of the concessions. That goes without saying. But you also have, without argument, the best infrastructure in the country, if not the Caribbean. You also have a place where you have availability and affordability of land. And you have that gold mine down the road, which is the port itself, the harbor, the container port.
Don't go away. When we come back, hear how one organization led by a Grand Bahama woman gave back in a major way in downtown Freeport.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this month.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
The ultimate brunch full buffet is back at Portobello's in the Grand Lucayan Hotel every Sunday from noon until 4 p.m. Call 373-1333 for more information. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Fresh Start program is a youth employment skills training program that provides job search skills and training to youth who are subsequently exposed to workplace experiences and instructions. The program receiving an overwhelming response this year, and participants say they are eager to glean what they can. Raven Davis was there and filed this report.
Push yourself. Have a positive attitude.
It was orientation day for over 60 students who eagerly enrolled in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's Fresh Start program, a community fixture for decades. Armed with specialized folders, the enthusiastic enrollees attentively listened, preparing for the transformative 4-month journey ahead.
You came to be trained and for your training to lead to employment. That's the purpose. Let's keep the purpose right in front of our faces.
I'm currently enrolled at BTVI studying media technology, so I thought it was going to be a very good opportunity for me to gain another certificate in IT and computers in order to further myself.
And I'm so glad that I was able to be granted this opportunity because not everybody was granted out of all the applicants I was chosen. So I'm forever grateful for it.
Youth Officer Kenneth Miller emphasizing the program's benefits for unemployed young adults between the ages 18 to 25, providing them with essential skills and certifications.
We will eventually have the Ministry of Labor come in and help these young people to get registered with their database and to find employment that matches the skill training. So the course offering is very, very specific.
The coordinators partnering with institutions like BTVI and the Bahamas Institute of Business and Technology. This collaborative effort driven by a strategic vision to formulate then execute programs that align with the pressing workforce needs.
So IT is definitely one of the programs that we know will be needed and one of the programs that they will be trained in. In addition to IT, there is the maintenance technician. In fact, what you're seeing right now is they're actually enrolling. That is a BTVI application that they're actually doing. So they have all the rights and benefits of a BTVI student.
Past graduates also contributing, recounting how the program propelled them into successful professional careers.
If you're in the developmental stage, study. Be focused, be intentional in trying to develop a mind or skills that could eventually be profitable to you. That's where you are.
Some of you all may not have any credentials as yet. This is a great opportunity because once you have these credentials, they are a stepping stone into your success.
Now, this initiative stands poised to empower a new wave of individuals. Classes started January 29th and will be followed by a work internship phase beginning April 22nd. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Well, the Outreach Community Clothing Drive, spearheaded by Sonia B. Roll, focused on providing relief for those in the downtown area. The Give Back featured clothes and shoes for all ages. It's an initiative Roll has been doing in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, and it's something she remains committed to each quarter of the year.
In this area, we find a lot of persons who are in need. You would see people here walking bare feet, bare backs, and, you know, they are in need. So the church is open for anybody who wants to come in, even for food. That's also a part of our vision. We want to serve the people here at the church for any need. If we can't help you, we'll try to advise you on the best possible way for you to get some help.
Pastor Colin Roberts-Clear of Miracle Arena for All Nations and Prophetess Michelle Crump were proud to be partners with Roll, as both see a special need for residents in the area and on the island as a whole.
It's amazing to see the needs of people in Grand Bahama. And so we decided to do this, you know, just for the people in Grand Bahama. But it's really, really timely and it's really needed for this hour and this season that we're in.
Sometimes we wait until something drastic happen to get back to the community. But why not get back to the community now? Because people are still struggling. And Jesus takes care of the whole man. Body, mind, soul, and spirit. So we want to be able to not just feed their soul, but be able to accommodate them physically.
Stay with us to check on sports and weather straight ahead.
Good news. A&M Professional Lawn Care is branching into Freeport. For all of your lawn care services, residential and commercial, landscape design, window cleaning, painting, or truck for hire, call 445-4157. It's RISPER Prophetic Intercessory Global Ministries' first Pastors' Wives Appreciation Charity Ball, Saturday, March 2nd at City of Life, Freeport, Grand Bahama. Tickets are $100. Your #1 news team covering the North, Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Here's a check on the latest in sports in the Northern Bahamas from our Shane Stubbs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to your Northern Edition Sports Check. The action continues to heat up at the Hugh Campbell Tournament over in New Providence. Plus, we got some updates from the volleyball playoffs. But first, GB Soccer Club is headed over to Fort Lauderdale this weekend. As head coach, Rick Morandini.
The last 2 months, we've basically been training 3 times a week. And then we've been playing the odd inter-squad game and a game against some of the boys that are 13 to 14. The girls are basically aged from 13 to 16, and we have one 17-year-old.
They'll be taking on the Sunrise Sting and Western Select. Co-captain Kylie Murray says it will be a change of pace, but they'll be ready for the challenge.
We're just really looking forward to going over there, playing the different teams, getting some exposure, just getting out there, you know. We've been over there once, but not often, so we're all very excited.
Their contest with Sunrise takes place this Friday evening, while they'll play Western on Saturday night. Next in sports, the competition got steeper at the ongoing Hugh Campbell basketball tournament last evening. The St. George's Jaguars gave it all they could, but ultimately fell to the C.I. Gibson Rattlers 46-29. The Tabernacle Falcons then had no issue grounding the Agape Christian Eagles. They won that one comfortably, 74-26. The defending champion Sunland Stingers kept their momentum rolling toward a three-peat. They'd handled the C.W. Saunders Cougars 56-39. It was do or die this morning for Agape Christian and Gateway Academy. However, the Eagles were eliminated by the C.R. Walker Knights 58-50. As for Gateway Academy, their time on the court came to an end after suffering a defeat at the hands of the Anatole Rogers Timberwolves. The final score in that one, 51-40. The final 8 this evening will feature the C.R. Walker Knights taking on the Falcons. The C.C. Sweeting Cougars will go up against the Timberwolves. The Stingers will take on the Cougars once again, and the Jaguars look for redemption against the Rattlers. And lastly in sports, results from round 1 of Grand Bahama Volleyball Association playoff action. Youth in Action Ballers advanced past the Baker boys in the co-ed semifinals, punching their ticket to the championship. On the women's side of the net, Youth in Action Fair Play outlasted Nesbitt Rental Angels, advancing to the championship game. The action continues in the men's division this coming Thursday evening. The Aces take on Youth in Action AID, followed by the GB Shockers taking on the Defenders. And that'll do it for your sports check this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs. As always, be safe and be great.
Thanks, Shane. And here's a look at tonight's weather forecast. It's sponsored by Royal Star Assurance.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Don't go away. The ZNS Northern Service Facebook Friend of the Day up next.
Lights, camera, action. Restoring the magic from East End to West End of Grand Bahama, we proudly present Freeport Fashion Week. Expect chic and elegant fashion displayed by incredible talent by Grand Bahama fashion giants and few upcoming designers. Come and experience Freeport's vibrant fashion scene. Get ready for a stunning runway show and stylish events that showcases our unique style, culture, and creativity when artists and designers come together to create the magic. Freeport Fashion Week beginning March 8th. Expect the unexpected.
Good day, good evening, and good vibes to my Power Nation. I hope you guys are doing so good. You know you got it locked in with the one and only Angel M, baby.
What you doing in the sky, Gap?
Listening to Power 104.5 FM.
You still listening to the show, Gap?
Yes, Angel M still on.
Girl, bitch, a perfect. Yeah, trouble when she turn it. Need your service. Waistline hot like a furnace. Hey, girl, what you doing to me? Doing to me? Girl, what you doing to me? Doing to me?
Tune into Good Vibes with Angel M from 2 to 6 on Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Our Facebook friend of the night is our ZNS Northern Service little brother, Ishmael Baloo. Ishmael, we know wherever you are having a dandy. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, $100 million in tax avoidance. Government accused of poor priorities and uncontrolled spending. Bahamas looks to reclaim global destination lead. And in sports, Hugh Campbell winds down. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Revenue up, but so is expenditure. But the government is cognizant that there are risks that must be buffered if the Bahamas is to truly bolster its economic resilience. In this report, our Fern Carey takes a look at how the first half of the 2023-2024 fiscal year has shaped up.
The Prime Minister updating the nation on the country's fiscal health and the government's fiscal performance over the first half of the fiscal year 2023-2024 in the House of Assembly Wednesday. He assured all that the economic outlook for the Bahamas for 2024 remains favorable, with continued growth anticipated in the domestic economy, particularly in the tourism sector. The nation's chief noted that government revenue for the first half of the fiscal year increased, with stronger collections expected during the second half of the fiscal year, boosted by an increase in departure tax for cruise passengers.
Tax revenue collections improved by $72.9 million and stood at $1.2 billion for the first 6 months of the fiscal year. This represented a 40.1% of the budget target. This administration implemented a structural reform in the VAT regime, effective January 2022, which reduced the rate from 12% to 10%. Value-added tax collections accounted for 55.2% of tax revenues.
The Prime Minister also cited an increase in government spending, which he attributed to higher employment costs due to planned promotions and staff and salary adjustments in the public service.
Total expenditure represents 45.2% of the annual budget target. Preliminary valuations of recurrent spending for the period made up 46.2% of the budget target, amounting to $1.43 billion. Recurrent spending increased by $8.5 million year over year.
The Prime Minister also noted that as a result of net borrowing activities, central government debt increased. He also detailed outstanding obligations, including those related to state-owned enterprises.
Of which 55.9%, or $50.6 million, were to the Water and Sewage Corporation, $27.7 million to Public Hospital Authority, $6.1 million to the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, and $5.9 million to Bahamas Air Holdings,
which, although he says requires strong government support, play a pivotal role in the life of the nation.
Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas is able to assert that when it comes to the Bahamas and reach up their coverage, only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS.
Meantime, the Prime Minister said the government's debt management plan remains a priority with efforts underway to close the loopholes that lead to revenue leakage. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Well, as the government eyes a strong finish to the 2023-2024 fiscal year, it's counting on collecting millions of dollars in outstanding taxes for a higher expected yield. That, of course, calls for plugging loopholes like the multiple and significant instances of tax avoidance finance officials have uncovered.
Within just the last 3 months, for example, the government has seized over $400,000 in cash and close to $1 million in alcohol, part of a large alcohol smuggling operation. Our efforts against alcohol and tobacco smuggling are intensifying. In fact, it is believed that the country loses close to $100 million a year through alcohol and tobacco smuggling. Thus, we are committing significant resources to combat this source of revenue loss. Our efforts as well have discovered numerous tax avoidance schemes which we are actively combating through audits and investigations. We have noted that the potential loss in this area is yet another $100 million.
According to the Prime Minister, analytic tools are also being built to detect tax fraud. The overall goal is to increase VAT, customs, and business license revenue collection. As for real property tax, the PM making it clear that the vast majority of these back taxes are actually owed by foreign property owners, not then an issue affecting most Bahamians.
Real property tax, I can report that billings are now in excess of $340 million, compared to less than $250 million at the beginning of this term. This translates into a higher expected tax yield. In addition, the department has accelerated in its property collection efforts, inclusive the use of the power of sale for foreign-owned and commercial properties.
Now, the corporate income tax, commonly referred to as the qualified domestic top-up tax, also mentioned in the Prime Minister's mid-year budget statement, only targets, though, foreign entities conducting business here with the potential generation of some $140 million to the public purse, therefore creating additional revenue that will provide substantial relief to Bahamian taxpayers. Well, the opposition unimpressed with the mid-year budget statement. In fact, its leader, Michael Pintard, went as far as to dismiss it as lackluster. Pintard contends that the Davis administration is overwhelmed by the enormity of the growing economy in these challenging times, charging that it has busted its budget in a dramatic way because of poor priorities and uncontrolled spending.
At this point in the year, they are already on a track to go well over $300 million in terms of deficit, as predicted. We don't take any pleasure in saying that. What we are saying is that the government, because of its tremendous spending, without the requisite revenue to offset it, that they are creating, we believe, the potential for real hardships on the backs of Bahamians.
Attorney General Ryan Pinder, meantime, presenting the country's position on international tax regulatory bodies to the United Nations Tuesday. The Bahamas joining with African countries and other jurisdictions that have labeled the regulations and subsequent blacklisting imposed by organizations like the OECD and the EU as unfair, inequitable, and unjust. AG Pinder yesterday presented the Bahamas' statement of priorities for a UN Framework Convention on International Tax Cooperation. It highlights three main areas: the use of blacklists, predictable rules, and equality and transparency in governance. The Bahamas supports the UN becoming the regulatory body that oversees tax compliance and regulation, given it is a neutral body. Economics Minister, the Honorable Michael Akita, spoke on the issue yesterday as he announced the Bahamas had been removed from the European Union's list of non-cooperative jurisdictions for tax purposes after having been blacklisted for more than a year.
We are supporting a resolution put forward and passed by some African nations that would seek to make the United Nations the arbiter or the judge, so to speak, of what is a harmful tax practice or what is cooperation with respect to things like harmful tax practices and money laundering. So remove it from the OECD and the EU, which we think they are not always arm's length. As a matter of fact, they are competitors with us in the financial services space. And so we don't think, quite frankly, that they are honest brokers.
The Bahamas shatters last year's tourism, locking down an impressive 9.65 million tourists. The visitor numbers reflecting a 38% increase over 2022 and a 33% increase over 2019. Tourism Investments and Aviation Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, says it speaks to the strength of the Bahamas' brand.
As you well know, far exceeds our target, our forecast. That far exceeds the record 7 million that we did in 2019. I'm very happy about this. It's great for the country. It sends a signal to the world that our brand remains exceedingly strong. We are a desired destination for travelers from all around the world. We're seeing significant growth in Nassau, but we're also seeing it throughout the Family Islands.
Minister Cooper says the Family Islands are seeing the highest growth rates, with Bimini leading the way and Grand Bahama second.
We're getting the fastest arrivals by air in the island of Grand Bahama. So we're seeing very exciting trends all across the islands of the Bahamas. We're hoping to be able to continue this momentum, and throughout 2024, we're going to continue to be monitoring. We have some great things in the pipeline. We have some exciting new investments, and I'll tell you more about them on Monday.
Still to come, labor on the blocks continues. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. More news in a moment.
This portion of the news is brought to you by FoCall Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with my business.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Since they're on sale, Max bought things neither he nor his friend really needed. Hungry for deals? Come to KFC to satisfy your hunger before doing something crazy. Our new 6-piece value deal is packed with 6 pieces of your favorite fried chicken, 3 orders of crispy fries, and 3 buttery biscuits, all for just $20. You work hard for your money. Get the biggest bang for your taste buds. Satisfy your taste buds with KFC. It's finger-licking good.
When we started Stormframe Windows in 1999, we wanted to fabricate an impact-rated product to compete with the Florida market, and we've done this. There's no fabricator or vendor from Florida that can do what we can in the Bahamas. Because we fabricate locally and we're a local-based company, we have the capability to provide better customer service than our competitors. With all the worldwide supply chain issues, we at Stormframe have improved our fabrication process and have invested in stock to be able to produce our orders in 4 weeks. We also keep in stock over 400 windows and doors at standard sizes for walk-in customers to purchase. Our professional sales staff is here to assist you with the complete purchase and installation. We also service and ship to the out islands.
Thank you for your support, Bahamas.
Thank you for your support, Bahamas.
Fidelity.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
After 51 years, Popeyes is crashing the wings party with 5 flavors.
Makes no sense it took so long. Crispy outside, juicy inside.
Who are you?
We don't make sense. We make chicken. Y'all good?
Popeyes' new chicken wings make no sense. Marinated in Louisiana spices, hand battered and clipped, and then we have the audacity to call all 5 flavors fast food? Someone should really say something or order something.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Now available at Popeyes in Nassau.
Authorities headed to an inner-city community here in the capital today following reports of a man experiencing difficulties brought on by a number of ailments. However, the story becomes even more tragic as our Lloyd Allen explains.
By the time our news team arrived to the big yard just off Windsor Lane West, we met an ambulance leaving the area, and residents still shaken following the tragedy of 2 residents, a male and a female, passing away nearly at the same time. We spoke with a man identifying himself as the brother of the deceased male.
It's very heartbroken because he is my eldest brother. And him and the other victim that actually passed away, they were actually good friends. They knew each other. And I think right now it's tragic because it's a close-knit community.
I also noticed there's a lot of kids around. Obviously, they would have known the victims or the persons that passed away. What's being done to comfort those children now?
Well, right now, you know, most of the younger kids and most of the babies, you know, they would have known him because they would see him coming in and going out every day. And there isn't much that can be done right now because, like I said, you know, this isn't like, you know, like I said, I'm lost for words right now. But something has to be done.
Adderley is hoping for spiritual support during this sad time for residents.
Even if our leaders of the community can, you know, maybe come forward and, you know, have, you know, a religious or spiritual meeting with the yard, you know, just to bring the unity back.
Now, according to Adderley, when the call was made for ambulatory assistance for his brother, by the time they arrived, his brother had already passed away. He says around the same time, the neighbor experienced a reported stroke, leading to her demise. Reporting from the Big Yard, Windsor Lane, for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Meantime, a traumatizing experience for another man here in the capital. According to police, he was riding his bicycle in the vicinity of Seabreeze Lane and Bay Lily Drive shortly after noon Tuesday when a strange man showed up and beat him repeatedly in the head with a stone while attempting to rob him of his personal belongings. Now, despite being injured, the victim was able to defend himself and the 60-year-old assailant ran off. The immediate response from Southeastern Division officers led to his arrest soon after. The victim was meantime taken to hospital where he was treated and discharged. Well, one person grateful to be alive tonight after escaping a fire at a 2-story structure on Bay Street and Elizabeth Avenue last evening. Chief Fire Officer Superintendent Demarius Ambrister confirming to our news team that officers received the call sometime after 6:45 p.m. 3 fire units were able to fully extinguish the blaze moments later. The individual was treated for smoke inhalation. The cause of the fire, though, is still under active investigations. Prompted by this year's murder of 2 teens, founder of Rise Bahamas, Ternille Burrows, is urging the government to prioritize child protection. Referencing the murder of Marco Archer, the activist noted that a repeat offender took the youngster's life. Burrows is calling for the reconstitution of the Child Protection Council, as well as donations to organizations like her own, Lend a Hand Bahamas, and FOAM that all seek to improve the condition of children. She adds the opposition, too, has a role to play, questioning what it has done to advance the cause of child protection.
We want stiffer penalties in terms of the laws. The Child Protection Act is what covers the rights and protection of children. It's inadequate at this stage. Stiffer penalties are required for those who have crimes against children. We need to implement mandatory minimum sentences for any violent crime against a child. We have maximum sentences. If someone rapes a child right now, today, the standard is that they would probably get a sentence of less than 10 years. The sentence for rape, statutory rape, anything like that, is life imprisonment. My suggestion is we start to give stiffer penalties and higher sentences for those who commit crimes against children, and also ensure that rehabilitation happens.
Lend a Hand Bahamas board member Sheila Farrington Pritchard claims parents of many children in the community her organization serves face many challenges, like whether to feed their child or send them to school. Chiming in was singer Sweet Emily, who insists the country must be more proactive.
We are in a community that has faced violence before, gun violence, all sorts of violence. It's not unique to what's happening all over this country. I beg and I implore those members of Parliament to collaborate and help us find solutions.
Look at the Marco Archer situation. If the person who raped Marco Archer was kept in prison, or basically me, some people don't believe in capital punishment, I do. So if you deal with persons and put them where they need to be, especially if they're convicted, Marco Archer could have been alive today.
On a lighter note, the Department of Labor is set to host another installment of Labor on the Blocks, the job fair to be held at Stephen Dillard Primary on Saturday from 9 to 1 p.m. for Centerville constituents. Director of Labor Howard Thompson says a number of employers from hotels to restaurants will participate.
These employers are fulfilling vacancies for positions that include cooks, servers, sales agents, construction workers, and cashiers, among other available positions. Also, the Department of Corrections will be in attendance to conduct a recruitment exercise for males aged 18 and older. The department advises all interested job seekers to pre-register using the QR code available on the job fair flyer posted on the Department of Labor's social media pages, which can be found on Facebook at Bahamas Department of Labor, on Instagram at DOL Bahamas, on Twitter at Bahamas Labor. And also, please note that members of the public are required to attend in professional attire and bring the following documents: passport, proof of Bahamian citizenship, your NIB smart card, police character certificate, and references.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources is partnering with Labor for the job fair. Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister and Centerville MP, the Honourable Jomo Campbell, adding details of the upcoming event.
Goes a tremendously long way into satisfying some of the concerns of the constituents. As a member of Parliament, our job is to continuously, walk, go door to door, ascertain the needs of the persons that we were elected to represent. And one of the main concerns is the availability of jobs, unemployment, and persons' willingness to work. And the desire and the eagerness for employment is there. We see it in Centerville, we see it in our sister and brother constituencies, Angliston, Baintown, Freetown, and I'm sure it's the same nationwide. And so we welcome this opportunity.
We still have more news to come, but Marcellus Hall has a look at what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Hugh Campbell tournament into its elimination phase. We'll tell you who's in and who's out just ahead in sports.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas, the region's leading tourism destination. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16 island destinations.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Over 400,000 Bahamians depend on our tourism-driven economy.
That is why tourism is everyone's business.
It's the passing on of our traditions and our cultural heritage to the next generation.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Tourism is everyone's business.
From the straw we plant, to exploring our Bahama blues, to experiencing the greatest show on earth. No matter who you are, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism
Is everyone's business.
In the Yellow Elder Garden, Ali and her cousins listened to Grammy share tales. The 70s so sweet, with themed costumes and dancing feet. Then came the brass, reaching new heights. A symphony of Bahamian nights. The 2000s, the Yellow Elder, a symbol of pride. Grammy's legacy in view as Ali dances in her Yellow Elder costume. We are alive.
Simplified Lending, we know that your time is precious, so we've unscrambled the loan process, making it fast and hassle-free. You can have your answer in as little as 24 hours. When you qualify, we simplify. We are the best borrowing solution for tuition, home renovation, vacation loans, emergency medical expenses, purchasing a vehicle, and for business expansion loans. Simplified Lending for simplified living. Call us today or find us in the R&D Plaza on JFK Drive.
Food, I believe, is so important. It's the most important thing for survival. So eggs is a no-brainer. The more we can produce, this business would really begin to, like my son say, make a mark here in Eleuthera. When I heard about this grant that SBDC was offering, I said, oh my gosh, this is my opportunity, because we always thought about chickens. We pray, please let us get this grant. I have an opportunity to make my business better because of what they did for me. At some point, I want the Bahamas to no longer have to import eggs, because I believe we need to move towards sustainability. We need to move towards a place where we can truly feed ourselves. This business would really begin to make a mark here in Eleuthera and hopefully the Bahamas as a whole.
Ready for the 25th Grand Bahama Business Outlook, February 22nd at 8:45 at the Grand Lucayan Resort. Keynote address by DPM the Honorable Chester Cooper and a powerhouse roster of speakers, including the Honorable Ginger Moxie, Shakira Johnson, Rupert Hayward, Dennis DeVoe, James Carey, Lynette Fowler, Juan Hernandez, Ian Roll, and many more. Secure your spot today at tclevents.com.
This facility that I'm in is called a Chick-In. Can you guess why? Well, we're on Grand Bahama Island, and we're exploring a family-owned farm that is growing at a very fast pace. I'm Leah Cooper, and this is Good to Grow.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Meet Terrence Roberts, the farm's managing director. He explains that the farm came about following an epiphany back in 2019.
I had an injury, and around that time, God just showed me the direction he wanted me to go in. And I went on a trip with my father for his birthday the same time, 5 years ago now. And we went to Exuma, and right off of Great Exuma is a small key called Stocking Island. And we have an uncle there, Kenneth Bow, who owns a restaurant and bar, Chat and Chill. And every Sunday he does a pig roast experience. So we spend the weekend there with him, and leading up to his pig roast, he had, we stopped by his farm. So as he's explaining his process, it just started to make economical sense because, you know, if he's able to supply his own demand for what he does at his restaurant, I just imagine what could we do here in Grand Bahama.
Now, the farm is named after an English breed of pig called the Berkshire that's highly regarded for being juicy, tender, and flavorful, which is heavily marbled with fat.
They have the highest quality pork. So if you know beef or steak, you would know that the Kobe or the Wagyu would have the highest quality based on the marbling. So when it comes to pork, the Berkshire breed has the highest quality.
After a few setbacks like Hurricane Dorian in 2019 and the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, Berkshire Farms was still able to grow and prosper. And just last year, the farm began expanding once again with a chicken coop. The Chick Inn, as he describes it, brings in a considerable amount of business for the farm, according to Roberts, with the coop bringing in hundreds of eggs on a daily basis and supplying mainly restaurants. With sustainability being at the forefront of the farm's practices, Roberts explains the benefits of uncleaned eggs.
You know, sometimes we have eggs, so something like this would be recently laid, so you see the little spots on it that are starting to dry. That's the bloom. So the hen would leave a bloom as a protective sealing or coat that protects the inside. So on the shell, she would leave a bloom because, as we know, that's a part of the reproductive cycle. So if you want the eggs to hatch into chicks, in order for it to grow and develop on the inside, it has to be protected on the outside. So it keeps all the germs, bacteria, and whatever other contaminants out. So eggshells are very porous. So with the bloom on, you can keep your eggs at room temperature on your counter, and they'll last up to 2 weeks fresh. And then you can put it in the refrigerator the same way, unwashed, and it can last up to 5 months. But if you wash it, it's more susceptible to bacterial contamination.
But for those who prefer their eggs cleaned, he demonstrates how that's done.
Just go ahead and grab the egg. The shells are pretty solid because they get access to lots of calcium, but you don't want to press on them too hard. And also, when you package, you want to package them point side down.
The farm also features an impressive hydroponic farm where residents can come and choose their leafy greens for purchase. And since winning the Agrarian Award for Male Farmer of the Year, he's now working on a unique farm-to-table experience, which is set to be up and running very soon. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
Agricultural officials on a walkabout of Arawak Key to hear the concerns of vendors and to get a first-hand view of improvements to existing challenges. LaDon Davis has the story.
And now the stuff is coming up in some of the business establishment. So now they are trying to fix that situation.
It's a smelly situation that owner of Brother Eddie's Takeaway, Eddie Jamis, says Arawak Key vendors have had to endure for about 8 to 10 years now. He laments about this vexing issue and the work being carried out through their busy operational hours has somewhat stifled business. But contrary to that, President of the Arawak Key Fish and Conch Vendors Association, Rodney Russell, says he's happy that the foul stench and some climate change issues are finally getting the attention it deserves.
I now feel confidence that we will now get some things done and we would now sit at the table. The sewer system is a vexing problem not only for the vendors at Arawak Key. This vexing problem came after the port came to Arawak Key. We didn't have this problem before. This young minister who has all the admirations to improve this local industry that we call ours, where fishermen and farmers could continue to sell their product so that the monies will all stay at home.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Neil Campbell, and members of his team went door-to-door on Arawak Key Wednesday to assess the progress being made and to reassure vendors that their concerns did not go unnoticed.
We've met with the association president, Mr. Russell, and a few of the vendors, and we're really out here to listen. Our minister has directed us to come out here and hear everything that is being said. I think they have the full confidence of Mr. Miller, who's doing an excellent job out here. It's supervised by Mr. Fred Smith. The U.S. and I and our entire team, every area that's responsible for the public markets or Awaki, we're out here today. And we promise that we're going to get everyone in the room together to really see what the challenges are with a view of trying to resolve them.
Campbell says work on the sewer will now be executed during the late evening hours, and a series of meetings between agricultural officials and Arawaki vendors will take place over the next few months. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDon Davis.
Meantime, tourism officials clarifying circumstances surrounding the relocation of Woods Rogers Wharf vendors. While it was never intended for the group to permanently occupy the wharf, the Ministry of Tourism confirms advanced notice was given with alternative locations provided. Vendors representing various goods and services have been accommodated since the Nassau cruise port's opening, and suitable locations are being considered for specific vendors. Tourism officials say they appreciate the vendors' cooperation. Well, there's feedback on the adoption of several roundabouts across the capital. The Bahamians we spoke with say these efforts to promote a cleaner Bahamas is a good move.
It's a give-back initiative of sorts, and it's a good way to lead by example, and that hopefully that translates to the everyday person and says, you know, if these companies can take care of this or take care of that.
We live here, and we have to be able to keep the Bahamas clean because we have tourists coming, and not only the tourists, but for ourselves, because, we know what the Word of God says, cleanliness is next to godliness, and so we have to keep ourselves clean and our surroundings clean.
Tourism is, like the largest industry here, and the environment is what gives people a clue as to what the Bahamas represents. And one of the things that I really noticed was since they adopted no more plastic, the oceans are absolutely pristine. And I think that keeping the roundabouts clean just gives people the energy of luxury. It gives the energy that Bahamians take pride in their environment.
Well, 22 Bahamians are set to travel to Ghana to strengthen ties between the West African country and the Bahamas. Leading the group, Angelique McKay, who says one expected benefit is the closer cultural ties through the University of the Bahamas.
One of the things that we were in discussions with is to be able to have students at the University of the Bahamas spend like 4 weeks at a time to be fully submerged in the culture of Ahanta by staying in different villages and living the day-to-day lives of persons from that particular region, because the research that has been unearthed recently by Christopher Davis shows our direct link to the Ahanta region of Western Ghana by way of his research on Junkanoo.
McKay adds that educators also signed up to travel and hope to benefit.
Now we have about 6 professors from the University of the Bahamas that are taking part in this voyage to Ghana, pilgrimage to Ahanta, to get a taste of what it is that their students will in turn get and be incorporated into the curriculum at the university.
Well, a day of celebration for the life of a man once dubbed the Prince of the Baptist Church here in the Bahamas.
Charles Saunders, he was my mentor. He was someone who's poured into my life. And as long as I live, I will always revere him. I will always stand on his principles. I'll always seek to carry out the spirit of work that he did.
William Thompson, Chancellor of the Baptist Convention, among those paying tribute to the late Reverend Dr. Charles Saunders, the former educator, public servant, Pastor Emeritus of the Salem Union Baptist Church and President Emeritus of the Bahamas National Baptist Missionary and Educational Convention, died back in 2022. He's remembered as a no-nonsense leader, firm but fair, and always faithful to his God. Tributes also paid to Dr. Saunders' widow, Victoria Saunders, who attended this morning's services at the William Thompson Auditorium.
A man who was given much, who stood when it wasn't popular to stand, sterling character, a decent son of God, a Christian man, a principled one. Today, we salute Dr. Charles Saunders posthumously.
I salute you, Mother Saunders, because as all mothers and wives who go through the burden of holding the family together when pastors become too busy taking care of other responsibility, and sometimes we leave our family out in the cold.
Well, time now for the poll question of the week. Following the health minister's announcement, do you feel paternity testing for the father to pass down citizenship to his children is a reasonable requirement? You can chime in on our social media handles. Still to come, our feature story of the night, Aquinas student author. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
Stocking your shelves is easier with the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, new low price, $2.19. Par Excellence rice, 5 pounds, $3.99. IGA tomato paste, 12 ounce, $1.89. Whole chickens, $1.99 per pound. Sweet strawberries, 1 pound, $3.99. Shop the specials and save at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks, so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our services are affordable and accessible. Take the mystery, confusion, and fear out of your immigration concerns. Contact Immigration Care Service today.
Watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
I don't know, but what kind of cars is this parking? You ain't even know where to park? Yeah, just don't park in the, look at this way. Like, you ain't get nowhere to go. Don't park him, just don't park in the handicap spot. Yeah, that's handicap. Yo, man, you can't park in the handicap spot. I ain't gonna be that long. Handicap spot, boy, what's going on, dog? I tell you we shouldn't park here now, this way park here, man.
I tell you we shouldn't park here.
Don't get one of these things. My bad big rope, and he got a stick inside. This ain't just mud though. We gotta move. This is honey gas. Let's go. We gotta move. Don't. We can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
Investigations continuing into yesterday's traffic mishap in Abaco that claimed the life of a mother and her young son. Abaco's members of Parliament is sending condolences to the families impacted by this tragedy in the House of Assembly this morning.
It's always a sad day when a life is lost, but it's even sadder when a child is lost. Our greatest resource is our youth, and they are the future of this country. And it just puts out there the cautionary tale, and I'd like to express it, that sometimes a few minutes late is not as bad as somebody losing their life. And to take the time to slow down and be cautious on the roads, particularly in Abaco when we have thousands of workers moving about in the day, in the morning time, in the afternoon, trying to sometimes cross stretches of 60 miles and get on ferries just to go to work to feed their families.
Please be careful on the roads of Abaco. The entire country. Our roads are very long and they're very unforgiving. Most accidents in Abaco result in casualties. So please, it's best to arrive alive a little late than to not arrive at all. Thank you.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. We have a few clouds, temperature a comfortable 71 degrees, relative humidity, well, that's at 52%. The winds out of the northwest at 10 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,018.7 millibars, that's 30.08 inches. And your temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 68 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Greenville, Key, and Abaco, Marshall, Abaco at 67. 70 degrees in the Berry Islands, Alistan, Bimini, 71. Harbor Island, 70 degrees. Roxanne, Eleuthera at 71. Also, Fresh Creek, Central Andros reporting 71 degrees. And then we pick up some 72s in Kemp Space at Andros, Black Point, Exuma, Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rumkey, and also in Georgetown, Exuma. Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island at 73 degrees. Betsy Bay, Megwana 74, Acton 74. Matthewtown, Inagua, a little warm at 76, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 75 degrees. And your voting forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. For all areas tonight, the winds will remain out of the northwest to north. The speeds are around 12 to 18 knots, and the wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So small craft will exercise caution throughout the 700 islands tonight. Low tide, that will take place at 7 minutes past midnight, and then for the northwest and central islands tomorrow, those winds will swing out of the northeast, and they will be falling off 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights down 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. High tide tomorrow, 6:30 in the morning, with the low tide at 12:57 in the afternoon. Now for the southeast Bahamas tomorrow, the winds will be northeast at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So once again, we ask small craft in the southeast Bahamas to continue to exercise caution. And as we take you into Friday in the northwestern islands, those winds become south to southwest ahead of an advancing cold front. The details coming up very shortly. The wave heights around 3 to 6 feet, so caution flags go back up for the northwest Bahamas on Friday. High tide, that will take place at 7:09 in the morning, with the low tide at 1:33 in the afternoon. Now for the central and southeastern islands on Friday, the winds southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. And that's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Shores. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Want to have your voice heard? Send your letters to the editor to digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. Share your thoughts on current events or positive stories within your community. That's digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. We want to hear from you.
know the news somewhere. Aha!
I said,
you catch me last time, they catch me this time.
Spencer, what you running on with? And I send you to the shop long time for the land for me to put in this pot?
Yeah, man. So you'll be all up in my grits. But I asked you to cook me this morning. You ain't cooking
Well, Vingston, this year say, junior sailors, and you ready for the grave.
You good?
Where?
To the repast for your wave made rest in peace. Listen, it just say 200 young sailors could be out to this thing. And they say it could be fun, it could be prizes and surprises. And guess what?
What?
Surprise you and going.
You won't carry me, but
don't touch me, nephew. Nephew.
What?
Let's show them what we can do.
Let them, Reggie. Show them what we do.
Just for the young people, miss, man. Anyway, while in the stage shaking up herself, I can see y'all on the 22nd through 24th, right over Montague.
Uncle, you forget?
What?
When it's on the junior jungle, on the school pop band could be there.
Oh, well, I can't miss this.
Vincent!
I hope you called me for my grits.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
I love to save. You love to save. We all love to save at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs, 15-ounce, $179. Sea Bass chunk tuna, 5-ounce, 2 for $189. Hellman's mayonnaise, 30-ounce, $7.79. Boneless chicken breasts, $2.99 per pound. Sweet strawberries, 1 pound, $5.99. If you love to save, you will love Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Well, they're working their way down to the final few teams standing at the Hugh Campbell basketball tournament. Amishal Knowles, he's been weaving his way through the excitement, bringing us up to speed on what's happening so far.
Teams trying to keep their Hugh Campbell hopes alive last night and lock up a spot in tonight's Elite Eight. To the highlights, the GSSA champs, the C.I. Gibson Rattlers, facing off the St. George's Jaguars. This one would look like it would be a close affair. Both teams would not separate until the second half. This is when the Rattlers flipped the switch en route to a 46-29 win to lock up the first Elite Eight spot.
Georgia's a very good team. First of all, I want to thank God for the opportunity to coach these young men. Georgia's a very good team. Shot the ball. A lot of those guys can shoot the ball real well. I had to box number 24, number 12, because they're really good shooters. All we wanted to do is make it difficult for them, put some pressure on them when we did, and we was able to force some turnovers and score some easy baskets. So that pretty much was the outcome of the game by us just putting a little bit of pressure on them.
Next up, the Agape Christian Eagles will try and pull off the upset over the always game Tabernacle Baptist Falcons, but that dream would be short-lived as Tabby would get out the gate running and never look back. The Falcons would completely dominate this one, 72-26.
We worked on a few things. We spoke on a few things that we needed to work on coming out of game one. I think we just made some improvements on the defensive end would help us tonight.
Game 3 would see the defending champions, the Sunline Baptist Stingers, face off against the BAISS champs, the CW Saunders Cougars. On paper, this looked to be a close and competitive game, with the Stingers perhaps showing that they're still the favorites to win the tournament, handling CW Saunders easily 56-39.
Credit to Charles W. Sanders, a very good team we saw there. But tonight we understood our assignment. It was a very important game that we made sure that we had to win the game to put ourselves in a good position moving forward in the tournament. We started off really sloppy, to be honest with you. It's still a part of getting used to the tournament. It's 5 new starters. But I think in the second half we played much better on the defensive end, especially being able to get multiple stops, pushing the ball on offense, and be able to get shots in transition.
In the nightcap, the CC Sweden Cobras taking on the Gateway Christian Academy Eagles out of Bimini. Another lopsided affair is perhaps a team that may be flying under the radar, asserting themselves to the forefront. CC dispatching GCA easily, 48-29.
We practiced all day today. We came to the gym in the third quarter because we was at the school just practicing. We know we had to work on our defensive schemes. Defensively, we were giving up too much easy layups, so we preached defense to the guys, and they came out today and they did a good job.
Now look at early Wednesday morning scores. Anatol would defeat Gateway 51-40 to move on to the Elite Eight. C.W. Saunders defeating Jordan Prince William 58-49 to advance. Finally, C.R. Walker, they would get past Agape 58-50 to lock up the final Elite Eight spot. Now again, the Elite Eight is all set. Currently underway, the CC Sweden Cobras will take on the Anatol Rogers Timberwolves. Following that would be the Tabernacle Baptist Falcons and the C.R. Walker Knights. After that, a rematch from yesterday, Sunland taking on C.W. Saunders. And in the nightcap, another rematch, the C.I. Gibson Rattlers and the St. George's Jaguars. Scores and highlights from the Elite Eight in tomorrow's Sportscast. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Amajal Knowles.
Meanwhile, our men's senior national basketball team currently in Puerto Rico ahead of their FIBA AmeriCup qualifiers matchup against Puerto Rico tomorrow. The squad made up of Kai Jones, Jerron Keno Burrows, Dominic Bridgewater, David Nesbitt, Aaron Gordon, Kentwan Smith, Rashad Davis, Emmanuel Newsom, Godfrey Roll, Tavario Miller, and Aaron Lavarity. Head coach Moses Johnson with his thoughts now on the team's chances for success.
When you look at the versatility, the youth injection, as well as the experience that these guys bring, I think we'll be a formidable force in both games, and we'll see great success. You know, we're riding a high right now, but we can't rest on our laurels. What's done is done. That's past now, and we have to handle the business at hand. But whenever you play a top 20 team, it's always tough, especially playing in their hometown and playing in their gymnasium where the crowd will be going crazy. We just have to control what we can control and let everything else fall into place. But we're going to prepare. We're going to prepare, and we're going to get ourselves ready, and we will be ready when the ball goes up.
Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for Exuma, the Honorable Chester Cooper, says upgrades to the athletic field at Exuma's Ellen Coakley campus have revved up with the goal of creating a state-of-the-art facility for students. Cooper says current work is underway, replacing a decades-old track and replacing it with a paved surface along with other modernized amenities.
I'm anticipating that over the next few months, with the continued work and support of the Ministry of Works, as well as the contractors, Caribbean Pavers Limited, we're going to complete this track to a standard equivalent to what you will find at the Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium. This is going to open great opportunities for having events here, for sports tourism, for getting inter-island track and field events back to the island of Exuma.
Now, Cooper says he is particularly passionate about this project as it is a part of his academic legacy.
We call this the Onion Bowl. I'm a proud alumni of this school, and I'm excited about this opportunity really to bring back track and field to the island of Exuma in its finest form. This track will be used not just for Ellen Coakley, but for all of the schools on the island, the primary schools as well as the private schools, to be able to come here and practice and really learn new skills in a safe manner.
And that's your check on sports for you here on this Wednesday. Don't forget our Wednesday weather is just ahead. Stay with us.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
For the next 50 days, 50 lucky winners will be getting $30,000 in cash and prizes. $30,000? 30. How you win? All you have to do is purchase $25 or more in fuel or a $25 and up Rubis gift card, and you enter to win. Take a photo of your receipt, and you can upload it via our QR code, Rubis Bahamas Facebook page, or our website. Don't forget, you need your receipt in order to win. Thank you. $500 on the Visa card, I'll buy everything, but I gotta turn my light on. But I need gas in my car, and I done miss and put diesel in here, and the car say, Bob.
Health is the greatest gift. That's
That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, our forecast map show a frontal system. This is what will be tomorrow, right across. That will be Little Rock, Arkansas, stretching into the Texas area. That will continue advancing towards the southeast, and we expect that front to move into the northwest Bahamas on Saturday. That will bring with it 1 or 2 showers, but behind that, a nice cool down will take place once again. Satellite pictures are showing that old frontal boundary now well to the southeast of the Bahamas. We have another little low spinning out there to the northeast with a trailing trough, and that will provide some cloud cover over the central islands and maybe 1 or 2 brief passing showers tonight. Windy this evening, otherwise mainly clear skies later on with your low temperature, a very nice 65 degrees. And tomorrow, another beautiful day, partly sunny and pleasant, 74 degrees, high temperature, extended weather forecast. Beautiful weather will continue right through Friday, but come Saturday, we bring that frontal system in. That will bring some brief showers during the early afternoon hours. Behind that, the skies will clear once again, and we'll get those temperatures back into the low 60s, and it seems as though it's going to be that way for the next 7 days. Makeshla.
Well, thanks, Basil. A diabetes diagnosis, frightening at any age. But imagine being diagnosed with type 1 of the illness at just age 4. And if that weren't daunting enough, consider being bullied because of it. This is the experience of 16-year-old Aquinas College senior Caden Moss Moultrie, who has chronicled her journey with type 1 diabetes and the experience of being a victim of childhood bully in her new book, Katie and the Big Bad Bully. It's her second book, the follow-up to Katie Gets Diabetes, released nearly 5 years ago. Not at all bitter about her experience, Katie hopes the book can help others who may find themselves in a similar situation.
What I'd like people to take away from the book is that knowledge is power. So by sharing your experience and your story, you can change whatever wrong facts people had about the condition, and so they can get the full story and understand you as a person.
A book launch slated for Friday evening at the Andrew Curry Fine Arts Building, Aquinas College. Principal Shauna Knowles says Caden, who also serves as a head girl, athlete, stellar academic student, and role model, is an inspiration to the entire school community.
Caden has taken ownership for her chronic condition. She never, ever uses it as an excuse. Caden is a student who is involved in anything you can imagine. She's athletic, she's academically inclined, she's the president of the Kidney Association here on campus, she's been the president of the Anchor Club, she's in the marching band. It's never an excuse. Her teachers speak very highly of her. Caden does what she's supposed to do.
Well, truly an inspiring story there. And that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Oh, did I eat up all the food? Did I drink down all the rum sweet? We can scrape it dance all night long to the sounds of the ancient man. Now I do done blow your candle.